Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Talkin Kop. We are here with our match reaction. Liverpool just beat Southampton in the Cup 2-1. I'm here with Chris because we have a few of our regulars that are out traveling the world. So it's just Chris and
Part
I.
timers.
They're having a good time. One of them is midair going to China, and then I don't know where Kev is. I think he's in a bar having a pina colada at this point in time. So it's just us doing all the hard work. Chris, how are you feeling after that game?
Yeah, just a bizarre game, that wasn't it? It was just started odd, had a few flashes of goodness, then got worse, and then had just a complete brain fart. It was just all round a bit odd. But people get very worked up about was Liverpool's performance great? No, it's kind of like a 5 out of 10. It was just an average performance. But in these rounds of cup, it's just get through them, you know, because I kind of feel it's a no-win situation for a Premier League team in these early rounds. Because if you win, everyone goes, "Yeah, well, you should have won, but you should have won better." And if you don't win, everyone goes, "It's a disaster, and the squad's the worst thing ever." So it's just about getting through it. Unfortunately for us, we've got what looks like quite a nasty injury for Leone and a stupid suspension, which we'll come to. Which I don't know who's more surprised: us, Slot, Frimpong, or the
Or
guy who got sent
Furlong?
off.
Yeah,
Frimp, honestly,
we're gonna
the
touch
pitch.
on it. I know there's a lot of people that have some strong feelings on Ekitike and the kind of massive brain fart that he had at the end of the game. Let's start at the beginning though. Let's talk about the lineups. Liverpool lineup comes out. Is there anyone in there that was surprising to you? Is there anyone that you thought might have been on the bench that wasn't? For me, I thought maybe Verts might be on the bench, maybe just to kind of boost his confidence, get him in, be a little bit creative against some lower opposition. Other than that, I
Yeah,
thought it was pretty much in line with what we were saying last night.
yeah, starting 11, I was absolutely fine with. I had no problems with that. I think that's kind of the 11 I thought it would be. I thought the bench might have been a little bit stronger, but do you know what? I was looking at the bench going, well, you've still got Dans, you've still got Ekitike, you've still got two first team fullbacks. So, you've got enough. And then if it's going really well, then we can throw some kids on. The only thing I'm probably surprised in the lineup is I thought Leone liked to play on the left hand side as left-sided centre back, kind of where Virgil plays. So when he started on the right, I was like, oh, that's a slight surprise. That's about the only
Yeah,
surprise I had. That could be my ignorance. Maybe he always plays on the right, but I assumed he played on the left. Other
I
than
mean that's
that,
a good
there's no
question.
real surprise.
I'm going to do a little bit of research and see where he plays traditionally. I don't know if anyone watched a lot of him last year and can tell us, is he versatile or was he predominantly right-sided? Because I'm really not sure. This is the first time I've watched him for a full 90 minutes. I've watched clips of him, but
Uh,
I don't know off my
I
head.
mean,
Uh,
when I had a quick Google transfer market on the show positions, he kind of showed both sides centre back, and they did show right back. I don't think he ever actually has played right back consistently. I think it might be like 2 games or something there, so. But yeah, listen. But other than that, the 11's kind of the 11 I thought. I thought 11 changes. We had nine first teams getting a complete rest. And our two
yep.
first choice fullbacks at the moment only played half an hour and 20 minutes. So, all in all, I was like, that's probably ideal, really. After the first minute, it went a bit downhill after that. But, the first minute, the
I
first
mean, we
minute
should
was
talk
good.
about the first minute because the first minute was good. We had Southampton losing the ball in a dangerous area, and we had Isak just picking up the ball out of nowhere. He has an amazing ability to create space where there seems like there's no space. And I thought the shot that he got off was saved really, really well by McCarthy. McCarthy's one of those goalkeepers that I know can kind of just somehow pull a worldie out of nowhere. Not that I don't think he's like the keeper he once was. But we've seen him against us just have one of those games where he's just a really good shot stopper.
I,
So, I
I,
mean, that
I
would have
think
been a
he's
fantastic
I think
game.
he's a dreadful goalkeeper. I think he's just an awful goalkeeper, and I just think he's one of those awful goalkeepers that you feel always has a world against your club. Because I've watched him play loads in the Premier League. He's garbage. He's absolutely garbage. So I'm not a fan. I expected him. It almost felt a little bit. I know this is probably sacrilege. A bit of a Darwin finish. It's like he tried to break the ball. But again, maybe because it's his first minute, and because it's not the sort of finish you do. I thought he just gently lift it over the keeper, like we've seen him do for Newcastle. I mean, look, we'll talk about his goal, which he pretty much did that. So, but listen, first minute, he thought, okay, this looks lively. And then to be fair to Southampton, I thought they had more of the ball for the next 15 minutes. Not too many like clear cut chances. I mean, I think Mamardashvili makes one good
There's a
save.
great one right at about 5 minutes. So 5 minutes 30 seconds. Armstrong has a really strong shot saved by Marmadashvili. It was high. It was in the corner, and it was a really strong hand from Marmadashvili. And
Yeah,
I thought he actually had a really good showing because this is his debut,
first,
after all. So he competitive
first,
debut.
yeah,
Go ahead.
first Georgian to play for Liverpool, isn't he?
Yes, yeah, I think you sent me that Michael Reed fact before the game, which is great. I think he's also the first new nationality to be represented since Colombia with Diaz. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, I think
I
so.
think
Yeah,
so. Um, yeah, so I thought he played really well. I mean, there was a few distribution kind of errors, but it feels like
that's getting used to the
that's
team a
that's
little
with it.
bit.
Yeah, it's getting used to the team, but it's also persistent with Allison this season. So, yeah, I'm not going to hold that against him. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think in and around that kind of first 15 minutes, I was surprised. I know that Southampton made 9 changes to their starting 11. Have you watched them much in the championship recently? I know that they're not
I
doing too
literally,
hot down. That surprised me.
I've literally saw their first game of the season because it was the live game that was on 'cause the championship started a week earlier. So I saw them beat Wrexham with the last kick of the game. Outside that, not watched them. And even in that game, there was nothing that particularly outstanding or impressive from either side. So I was expecting Liverpool to win, probably a little bit more comfortable than we did. I mean, in terms of Mamardashvili, I don't think he had a bad. I think he was absolutely fine. He kind of did all the things that I would expect the heir to Allison to do, as in all the things he said, the good saves. But I kept looking, going, but they're all saves I'd expect the top keeper to make. There was none where I was going like, that's outrageous. They were, which is good. I kind of looked and went, yeah, they're all saves I expected to make. Kev put in our chat, his positioning was excellent, especially for getting low crosses. I mean, he's a hell of a framer anyway, but I think the way he cut out low crosses, I thought was really good. So there's a lot to for his debut. There's a lot to be liked about him, to be honest. So yeah, as debuts go, it was a good debut.
Yeah, I mean, he's an absolute unit. I do really like the way he commands his box. I love a keeper that, when the ball comes in, just, I mean, he's like a foot taller than everyone else, so obviously he should get hands to the ball. But he seems really, really. He's a little bit like Donnarumma in like the way that he's physically imposing. I
Yeah,
guess is what I'm trying.
yeah, he's probably more that
Um,
style. I don't know if he's as good with his. We haven't seen enough yet of his feet, but yeah, that's one to look out for. I would say.
yeah, I know Shawnee rates him really, really highly, and I think having someone like him as your number two, we were spoiled with Kelleher. Granted, he looks a little bit different at Brentford. But for us, we were spoiled with Kelleher, and having someone of that caliber as our number two, I think it's only going to stand us in good stead because we know that Allison kind of has his moments every once in a while.
I
So
think.
I was
I
very
think
happy
now.
with that.
I think now we've seen him. Not with look, God forbid, we don't want that. But if he had to come into a Premier League game now, you wouldn't go, "Oh, for fucking hell, who's this?" You would be
Yeah.
about. It's not like when you used to have for like Brad Jones or some of the other woeful goalkeepers. I mean, I did send another stat to you guys earlier, which put shivers down. It definitely put shivers down Kev's spine. As this is the third time in the Premier League that Liverpool have ever named two Italians in the starting lineup. And when you saw the other Italians who played for us, you're like, "Fuck me." We had some absolute shit shows played for us.
Yeah, let's touch on our young Italian, our 18-year-old signed from Parma, last name Leone. He came from Sampdoria before he went to Parma, and then I believe he had another club before that. So he's traveled quite a bit. Um, how did you think he did in that first half? Because I was very, very impressed with his composure. I don't think he looked out of place whatsoever. I actually think that him and Gomez looked like a pretty good pairing. I think it was Gomez that was the one that was looking like the weak link out of the two of them, to be completely honest.
Yeah, on Gomez, look, I thought defensively Gomez was fine in general. I think what let him down was some of his passing. We'll talk about their big chance, which I think is a combination of him and Leone. I mean, for their goal, it's a horrific pass which leads to the corner. I mean, he's not the only one who has a bit of a balls up for that goal. We'll talk about that. No, Leone. I think I said to you guys in the chat, he gave me there's an air of Sammy Hippier about him the way he played. just commanded in the air, really calm on the ball. It's only his first game, but I think you saw all the tools to be a very good centre back for Liverpool. The key will be how does he back it up? Does he back it up? Does he back it up? The only shame was he went off injured. I mean, there's loads of chats saying some say they think he's broke his leg, some say it looks like an ACL. Let's wait until it comes out because we get ourselves in the frenzy with these injuries, and then they're sometimes not what we think. From the replay I saw, I thought it was more the fact that when you watch the replay, he does half crack the back of his head on the floor,
He
and I
landed
wonder.
quite hard on the back of his head, and I think he was
That's what I
probably in
mean.
shock.
I think it's more that I think to me, look, I think he looked like he was concussed and almost knocked
Yeah.
out.
I mean,
So,
and I
but
hate to say that that's maybe the best case scenario, but we will get to that. But yeah, just in general, for being 18 years old, we think about Kwanzaa last year. Kwanzaa's what, 22, I think, off the top of my head. Um, I think that he looks like a really able deputy to step into that young, up and coming center back role. And I know that that's something that we were looking for quite a long time. So I was just happy to see him kind of bed in a sort of no fuss manner, and just really stand up when he was tested. So I'm happy for that. Um, there's a little bit of goalmouth action. I think,
Andy Kaufman's saying to me, concussed question mark. Said, watch the replay, Andy. He smashed the back of his head. He may have also hurt his knee, but he absolutely smashes the back of his head. So he's probably, if he's done his knee, he's also got concussion. You don't always have to be a smart ass in the comments.
Yeah, we'll wait to hear a little bit more about that. I will see if there's any slot comments or anything that confirm what's going on with that. Like I was saying, there was a little bit of goalmouth action. I think that Chiesa had a couple of strong shots in there right around 22, 24 minutes. And then we saw a little bit of Southampton coming forward, and I thought Manning and Archer actually paired together really, really well on that side. I feel like Archer we've seen a little bit of in the past. But yeah, going into that 42nd minute, that's where we really start to see Southampton come into their own. Gomez gives the ball away. So we were talking a little bit about Gomez, poor passing out from the back. Gomez gives the ball away, and Southampton, they there's two shots there that both equally deserving of a goal. Um, what were your thoughts when Armstrong hit that ball off the post, and then who was it Chienza that was following up, missed the net completely? What were your thoughts at that point?
Yeah, I mean, Mohamed Ashfield does well actually. He makes some of his big spots. Look, it's a good effort by Armstrong. He's really unlucky with the ship that's crossbar. It's a bit of an awkward header, but I don't know. I kind of expected him to at least hit the target. Leone does well getting back, and then literally, I think it was 37 seconds later, Liverpool score. McCarthy, who, like I said, is shite, and the ball looked like a hand grenade by his fuss. But you got to give big credit to Chiesa. I thought he anticipated it well, won the ball off defender, and passed to Isak. Nice finish. Gets the monkey off the back. That's the first goal done. So, yeah, look, it's really good. I probably would say at half time it probably should have been 2-1 to Liverpool because Isak should have had two, and to us they should have scored that chance they had. So, a bit relieved, and you kind of thought, we'll see what happens. And Isak kind of warmed down, and Ekitike was coming on. I thought, this will be interesting because Ekitike is in really good form, and Ekitike made it a very interesting night. He was the man of the moment in more ways than one.
Yeah, so I mean, you just sped through that last part of the half right there. I guess let's go into the second half. So we see Ekitike coming on for Isak at halftime. It looks like Isak goes through the warm down motions at halftime. It looks like it was a planned substitution, no injury there, so nothing to worry about. He was working pretty hard in his cool down, so I was pleased to see him. I still don't think that he looks fully fit. I think that he's you're seeing glimpses of his abilities. There was one time right along the left wing where he was really bright, dribbling it down the left and then having the composure to cut back inside. So there were a lot of bright things from Isak. But seeing Ekitike come on initially, you're like, wow, that's great. Here we have this like for like replacement. We get to really take our time with Isak, and then 52 minutes in, Ekitike throws the ball into the ground. There was a 50-50 challenge. I can understand why he was frustrated that the referee called it against him, but we see this now where if you petulant and you have that moment of kind of seeing red that the referee is going to give you a yellow card. So Ekitike gets his first yellow card coming in less than 10 minutes into his match. Were you worried about that maybe coming back to bite him? Obviously it did, but were you worried at that point, or were you like, he's a senior player, he's composed enough to figure that out and deal with it? But
Um, yeah, I wasn't worried about it because I was actually surprised at his reaction. Because yeah, it wasn't a free kick; he was a bit frustrated. But we've saw all the other games, like things like the Newcastle game, things like where people were trying to wind up, and he was just bouncing around. He was, sort of letting it go. Really, he was quite relaxed about it. So I kind of thought, his demeanor was he'd be a little bit, he'd be okay with it. But he just has an absolute brain fart.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's 23 years old. You know, excitement can get the better of you. I can't really explain the first one. I think the first one is the one that actually pisses me off more, because I think the second one he just forgets that he's on a yellow card. The first one just feels like, yeah, I feel like, and isn't that the second one that he's had, the second yellow card that he's had for petulance this season already? I feel like he already had one in the league. He
Mhm.
seems to occasionally lose his temper, and I don't really like that. I don't know if in other leagues that's not penalized to the degree it is here, but it's definitely something that needs to get ironed out. And I'm sure that Slot will iron it out after this performance. But yeah, so let's keep going. We get to about 56 minutes, and we got the substitution of Bradley coming on, Jones going off. Did that surprise you at all, seeing Jones go off, seeing that shift in the lineup a little bit there?
It did surprise me at first because I was trying to work out what's the formation we're going to play. Jones Grafton wasn't really a surprise because, again, I think that might have been a bit of a pre-arranged one. But we went to look like a 4-2-3-1. If I'm honest, I thought that freed up Leone because I felt he was quite tentative in the first half. Couldn't really get involved in the game. A little bit sloppy in the ball. When we put him at more of a more of a deeper role next to Endo, he's a lot more involved. He looked a lot more comfortable with the game in front of him. So it worked well. And listen, we got to see Frimpong play wide right, and Chiesa went in the 10, which, to be honest, suited both of them. I thought Frimpong actually did well on the right. Again, I thought Frimpong got more involved. I felt he was a bit of a non-event the first half. You didn't really hear him mentioned. And Chiesa was already pretty involved in the right wing, and I think centrally just freed him up a lot more and got him involved. I think tonight was a good learning curve for Rio and Gaboa because I think you can see why he does so well as a sub because it comes up his pace, his trickery. It's really, really good against um, tiring legs. I think he started. I think he found it a little bit difficult when he got doubled up on. But do you know what? He's a young lad. He's going to have to. He's going to have to. Learn that side of the game. So I think that was a good learning curve for him as well. To be honest.
Yeah, I think this was probably one of those games where he was a little bit quieter. There was a lot of effort in terms of he held onto the ball. He wanted to do something. You could see that he really wanted to create something with those dribbles, but it felt like it was almost one touch too many. You could actually hear Robertson sometimes trying to coach him from behind, and that was actually really interesting. I think having Robertson there as that senior voice, that's only going to help Rio in the future. But I thought, again, not to be harsh on him, but I thought it was a good reality check for everyone that's calling for Rio to start some of the more senior games in the Premier League and in the Champions League. A lot of times we can get really excited about the flashes of brilliance that we see in these young players, but when we see them for closer to 75 minutes or 80 minutes, we can see sometimes they have limitations where I just don't think it's fair to compare him like for like with Gakpo. He's still, for me, a youth
Yeah.
prospect, a very, very exciting youth prospect. But this game showed me that in a little bit more clarity.
Yeah, no, I think we have four attackers who can start in Gakpo, Salah, Ekitike, and Isak, and two lads who are really good subs. Chiesa and Rio will be a very good impact to us for the last 20 minutes. Rio, I just don't think he's got the maturity yet to start Premier League games, and that's absolutely fine. He's only 17, and I sort of feel Chiesa. I'm not quite sure with the pace and physicality of the Premier League. Chiesa's ever going to be quite ready to start, but I actually think he's a very, very handy sub. He's very clever, and I think we saw that cleverness tonight with both his assists. And one thing I do like about Chiesa when we get on the pitch, he nearly always hits the target with his shots. You know, he's really knows how to like work a keeper or work a defense, which is good to see. So yeah, looking forward to it.
So let's see. 74 minutes, Rio goes off. We see Dan's come on. So this is right before their goal. We haven't seen Dan's in a little while. He, as most of us know, went to Sunderland last year on loan, immediately got injured upon arrival, and got sent back to the AXA to do his recovery. He's been plagued by injuries for a little bit. Were you excited to see him just get the minutes again? Did you expect him to still be around? Or did you expect him to go out on loan for this particular time?
I thought he'd have got a loan because I thought that was the point, giving him like regular football to for his body to get used to men's football. The one thing, the one benefit of Dan's is he has that lovely habit of it feels like whenever he's on the pitch, he always makes something happen. Whether you play him through the middle or we play him wide on the left. So I was actually quite excited to see him. It wasn't too much involved there, but his pace and he knows how to use physicality. It's good to see. I still think Dan's should go on loan in January. I think it'll do him good. I think he just needs regular football, regular men's football, just to test his body out to see how he can cope. Because the concern for Dan is he's just picked up a couple of back injuries. I think he's just grown into his body and all that. But you just want to make sure you don't have with a Bajcetic situation where it's constantly picking up injury, picking up injury, picking up injury. I don't think he will be. But no, I was pleased to see Dan because I always think he's a good player when he comes on the pitch.
Yeah, I was really pleased to see him too. So 75 minutes rolls around right after Dan's comes on, and we come back to another situation where Gomez gives the ball away. So very similar to the chance that they had first half. Gomez passes it out. It goes straight to Downs, and that ends up with a Southampton corner. So that was an avoidable corner first and foremost, and then we have the goal. We have Shea Charles that puts it into the back of the net after a very, very poor Endo clearance. I don't know what Endo was trying to do. I don't know if he lost the flight of the ball. It was an inexplicable header. I don't know
It
what.
like you should. I think he's trying to flick it on wide and just gets it
It,
completely wrong.
he just
Because
gets it
actually,
completely wrong.
because the defensive setup for that corner is fine. It's a stupid corner to give away. But you know what you do. We've give corners away before, but I don't think there's anything else defensively we can do because I think that the header he does, it's a great assist for them because it absolutely takes everybody out of the situation. It's just an absolute brain fart. And Endo knew it straight away. It was a pretty poor header. But again, I think he was just okay. Don't think any more than that. But it's just okay. But again, that's sometimes the risk when you play players who haven't played regular football for a little while. You're gonna get these moments of madness. Speaking of moments of madness,
Yeah, we'll get to that. The one thing I wanted to point out is that it did seem like Bradley was a little bit late to step out on that goal. He seemed to be the one that was trailing back and made it so that Charles was onside. And so as much as it was Endo who contributed with that header, I think this was a kind of comedy of errors in and amongst the back line. I think between Gomez, Endo, and Bradley, they all had a role to play. So yeah, we talked that through, and we get to Leone. Leone on the sidelines. He seemed to me to have a really bad landing with the advertising hoardings, and there's like a really hard part off the pitch there, and it just seemed like he bounced almost off of it. There are some people that have claimed that there was something going on with his knee. I haven't seen anything to
no,
confirm that. I don't think that
yeah,
Slot has
a friend,
said
a friend of
anything.
mine's text say ITV said he's got a knee brace on, but
Okay.
I had the Sky comms on. Sky didn't mention it. All they said was that looks a sore one, and then the only replay they showed was you saw the back of his head cracking the floor. So, either way, it didn't look good, and it was a real shame because he played so well, and you know, from a selfish fan point of view, we're going, fuck me, we've got Andy Robertson at centre back. Which, listen, Robert did absolutely fine tonight, but you don't want him at centre back. It's just a shame for him because he's waited so long for his debut, and it was a really good debut,
I
and
thought it was
then
outstanding.
and then he's
Yeah,
cut, and then it's
I
cut
thought
short with a it's just cut
just a
short of a
freak
very
injury.
innocuous. It's an innocuous. 9 times out of 10, he'd just he'll just slide off and run back on. He wouldn't land the way he did. It was a really, really unfortunate. We just hope it's not serious. And like, even he has got his knee in a brace. You hope it's more of a precaution thing, when they put like moon boots on players' ankles and all that sort of stuff when they hurt them. But it didn't look
Yeah.
great.
I mean,
Did
he
it?
did get stretchered off, which is never good to see. And he was on the oxygen mask. He looked like he was in significant pain. So it definitely wasn't nothing. We will wait to get confirmation on more before we kind of talk about that publicly. So we kind of reached the time in the game where Liverpool seemed to really enjoy scoring goals this season. So here we are. We're against Southampton. We all kind of thought, oh, this is going to be comfortable. We're going to get a good early lead. So no, we don't. We are tied going into the 85th minute when our friend Ekitike decides that he is going to do Ekitike things and score a fantastic goal, which is fantastic. We
Brilliant.
start
It's a
with
brilliant ball by
Chiesa.
Robbo and good work by Chiesa. That works fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have a great ball by Robbo, and then Chiesa does a lot of work there. It's a tight offside on the left there, but Chiesa, again, really, really involved in both goals. And he puts that cross in. Ekitike has the composure there to finish the goal, rather. And then we have the moment of madness where he goes over in front of the cop and takes his shirt off. And as he's doing it, I am just thinking, what are you thinking? Like, you're on a yellow card. I know you're on a yellow card. Surely you know you're on a yellow card. I think he may have
My,
just had a brain fart and completely forgotten that he was on a yellow
I,
card.
I think when he was
I have no other explanation.
I think he must have a bit of red mist when he threw the ball down, not realise he's got booked, and just enjoyed the goal. I mean, listen, there's a picture of Slot's face, and the best picture I've seen is Frimpong's face. He's almost looking at him like we are going, "What are you doing?" And I think you can tell. I think you can tell straight away from, when the ref walks over. Ekitike has gone, "Oh shit, I'm on a yellow, aren't I?" He's
See,
just had a. It's just a young lad who's had a complete brain fart. The
my
frustration is
hypothesis is that he desperately wants to be on that AXA bulletin board in the background, and that he saw like his moment in lights, and that was like going to be the picture, the knee slide toward the flag, and then the shirt coming off. That was going to be the picture in the AXA. And now I'm kind of curious if Slot's just going to like put a black picture there as like a mark not to do stupid shit.
yeah.
Because
I mean,
it
I must
was a
admit,
great last minute player, but I mean,
I had
oh
to,
my goodness, the way that Slot and Frimpong,
yeah,
they
I had
looked
to
both
check.
stupefied and furious at the same time.
Yeah, because I had to check that because I thought suspension stayed within the competitions. Well, I was reading it's only yellow. So if you get a yellow in the League Cup and that yellow doesn't carry over to your 5 for the league, but a red card's instant one. So I was like,
Yeah.
for fuck's sake.
So
So
domestic competitions, the yellows stay within competitions, but the reds carry over. So unfortunately, the result of this is a one match game ban, which means that he misses Palace, which is going to be a really tough game. Thankfully we have Isak. This is why we have a squad, but
yeah,
it's also
and
we don't want to be testing our squad for stupid brain farts.
no, but I suppose if you want to look for a positive out of it, one, he won't do it again because he'll fucking realise that he needs to be a bit sharp with that. But two, for Chiesa, it probably gives him his opportunity to get back in the squad because he hasn't got back in the squad the last couple of games because Rio's took his place. But you have to say, based on tonight's performance, it should be Gakpo, Salah, Isak starting, and Chiesa should be your first attacking sub, realistically, because he's probably the one who's actually made a bigger impact. So, listen, I still expect Liverpool to beat Palace on Saturday. I think it'd be a tough game, even without Ekitike. With Ekitike, it makes it easier because of the way he plays. Because listen, his actual all-round play tonight was good. He showed flashes of his pace, his hold-up play. He's got this lovely habit of he keeps scoring goals, which is always handy. It's a one-game ban. let's not turn into Arsenal going like, however will we cope? It's like it's a one game ban, and we've got other players. You know what? This is a good test for squad going right. You haven't got Ekitike, so time for somebody else to step up. This could be a game where Frimpong comes off the bench as a winger and scores, or it could be, ideally, our first comfortable win of the season, which would be quite nice. I doubt it
Yeah,
because
let's not put out these lofty ideas. I mean,
because Palace
we'll
away is
probably
never.
do a whole preview though ahead of Palace, and it's something that we'll
Yeah.
go into, in more detail talking about it because it is something to consider. I think one thing that was commendable at the end of that, sort of, if you're looking for a silver lining, is the way that Slot really shut up shop there. And the players decided to take it upon themselves to really step it up a notch. And I thought Dan's in particular did a really great job of relieving some pressure. There were a few times right at the end of the game where he was taking it and just really close control, able to get out of pressure. And then the same thing with Chiesa. We were just talking about him, singing his praises. The way that he was able to get the ball up the pitch on the left side and really hold it up in the corner. Just, again, senior player mentality. And I thought that you really saw him as a leader today, which is something I haven't seen yet from him, which doesn't mean that he's not capable. It's just I haven't seen that in his performance, mostly because we haven't really seen that much of him. But today he really felt like, oh, here's this senior international like gem of a player. And I think that, going into our man of the match shouts, I'm going to go early and say for me it was Chiesa. I just was really, really impressed. I think that was his best game in a red shirt so far. In terms of my honorable mention, I'm going to go Leone because I think for 18 years old, he did not stand out at all in a bad way. I thought that he was fantastic. And then my could do better, I think, is Gomez. Like I said, I think he was culpable for the almost goal in the first half and the goal in the second half. And as that senior center back, I just expect more from him. He's one of those players that he does tend to need, a little bit of a run of fixtures to get that rhythm. But for me, that was not the Joe Gomez that I am used to seeing. I expected more leadership from him. So yeah, and the dog, I'm gonna mute myself because the dog's going mental. Why don't you give me those three for
The
you,
dog's just
man of the match, etc.
the dog's just seen Ekitike get sent off. Going, what the fuck's going on here? Right, so I've got to think of mine now. I mean, the correct answer probably is Chiesa for man of the match. Honourable mention, I'll say Mamadashvili, because actually it was a very good, like Leone, a very good debut. I mean, listen, I've no problem with Leone getting that, and could do better. I understand. I think Gomez's passing could have been better. I don't think Endo and Leone took that opportunity. I would say Leone I've got less of an issue with because he's a youngster, but Endo, I think, just was a little bit out of position a couple of times. Near the end he helped to see things out, but that header for their goals just horrendous. I think that header for the goals worse than the pass from Gomez. So, but listen, we know what Gomez and Endo are like. You play them the next game, they'll be absolutely fine. Ultimately, Liverpool got through, and that's it.
Yeah, the dogs are still going.
I've
It's
just read your comment about your dog. It's a bit harsh.
Yeah, no, he's an asshole. I know that I know that Gav's in the background. I don't know if he has the ability to throw up some of the quotes. If he can, can you throw them up on the screen so that we can read through some of the quotes? If that doesn't happen, I'm just going to take that as a hard no. And if anyone has some quotes, could you guys throw them in there just so we can read them? Because I have not been able to do that while hosting. So let's see.
Yeah. The other nice thing today was
I'm not seeing anything from Gav.
The other nice thing at the beginning of the game was the minute silence from Matt Beard, which was impeccably observed by both set of fans, which was which was really nice to see. Because it's been a bit of a rough week in Liverpool world with that. Speaking of Matt Beard, we have done a tribute show to him, which went live on YouTube this morning. So that's a free show. It's myself, Emma Sanders, and Philippa Smallwood. So if you want to listen to us talk about Matt Beard's life and career, it's well worth a listen to a really lovely man. I don't think you're going to get any quotes coming up. I don't think. Ash.
No. So I will pull them up myself. The main one that I have is from Isaac, who says, I'm on my way to getting fit. The first should have been a goal, but it's about being ready for the next one. So I'm happy with that. It was good to get minutes. The main goal is to win, and that is my main priority. So that's from him. And then Arne Slot, when asked about Leone, he said, if a player goes off like that, it's not a good sign. We have to wait and see what it is, but usually it's not positive. This was not our best performance. You can expect that if you play a completely new team. So many players haven't played for a long time. There were positives. Marmadashvili had a very good game. Chiesa and Leone also had a good game. The first goal for Isaac and another for Hugo. Positives from the game, but how we played as a team, not taking anything away from Southampton because they played well, it wasn't our best performance. So that was Slot's pretty candid take on that. I tend to agree. What are your thoughts on those comments?
Yeah, pretty standard stuff. He also apparently, when asked about Hugo Ekitike's red card, called it needless and stupid, which is yes. I love it if he just kind of said, "Oh, he's had a brain fart," and he, I just left it at that. I think, as Kev rightly pointed out, God help, God help Hugo in training tomorrow. He's going to get absolutely piss taken out of him. Rightly so.
I hope that instead of Frimpong getting carried around by Virgil and Ibu, it's Ekitike that gets carried around because I don't know. There has to be some
Might
sort
lock
of
him in a cupboard or
forfeit for
something.
doing. There has to be some sort. Maybe Ekitike has to do the entire warm up and practice tomorrow in one of the Liverpool crop tops. That is going to be my suggestion. If anyone else has a better suggestion, throw it into the comments either in the show or after the show because I would love to know. I think that would be a fantastic kind of way forward. Anyone that gets a stupid red card has to do the entire next day's training in one of the Liverpool crop tops. But yeah, I think that that's probably everything that we really need to say about this game. There really wasn't too much. I mean, obviously, we go through. There weren't really any other results that were shocking. I mean, the Brighton results, they really steamrolled their opponent. Let me just pull those results up.
Diego Gomez got 4, didn't he?
Yeah. Do you have those results there to just sort of talk them through really quick before we go?
Barnsley 0, Brighton 6, with Diego Gomez getting 4. Oh, by the way, if you see his third goal for his hat trick, it's quality. It's a brilliant goal. Burnley 1, Cardiff 2. So that's a bit of a surprise because Burnley don't normally lose many games at home. Fulham beat Cambridge 1-0. Chelsea beat Lincoln 2-1 after a bit of a scare. Wycombe beat Wigan 2-0. Wrexham won at home against Reading. And Wolverhampton 2, Everton 0, which is always fun because Tarkowski said they want to do well in the Cups. Good start. So that's it. I mean, listen, Liverpool win, Everton lose. All good, really, isn't it? All I hope is next round, just get a home draw. I don't really care who we get, just get a home draw. If we can get a lower league side again, that'd be great. But as long as we get a home draw, that's all that matters. Oh, Davey T's in the chat. The holders are playing tomorrow.
We do. Yeah, we have a couple teams tomorrow. We've got Man City playing Huddersfield, Newcastle playing Bradford City, Spurs and Doncaster, and then Arsenal Port Vale. So
can't see any upsets there.
Conclusions there. Yeah, I don't see any upsets there. But yeah, we'll see. We'll tune in tomorrow and check that out. Before we go, I think
it's the Women's League Cup tomorrow as well. The Women's League Cup's on tomorrow, so I think the women are at home to Sunderland, so that'll be the first home game since Matt Beard's passing, so that should be a difficult game. I'll let you know how that goes.
Okay. Yeah. I agree with the moment silence being impeccably observed, and I think that going forward that's going to be hard. I know that the club have had a lot of grief to deal with recently, and I hate to say that we're good at dealing with grief because you don't want the club to have to, but
no.
So far it seems like they've handled this with as much grace as they can. And my thoughts and prayers go out to his family and friends, of course. So yeah, hopefully that game will not be too difficult for those ladies, although I doubt it. On that note, just closing up a little bit of housekeeping here. I didn't really give us any sort of nice kind of
Segue.
segues. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. I didn't give us any nice segues for NordVPN, but I will say that perhaps Kev or Matt, actually probably not Matt because he's in China and that would probably get him arrested, but perhaps Kev might have been watching this game on NordVPN, which is our sponsor. So there is an opportunity to sign up for NordVPN down in our description box below. It does help us out a little bit as a channel, just kind of keeping the housekeeping going, keeping the lights on and whatnot. And it's a great service, especially if you're traveling and you want to watch these games. It's also great if you want to just hear me chat over my stupid dogs. The other thing is we have some Patreon shows coming up. I am going to be doing those outside on the deck so that we don't have to listen to this anymore. Because this was a lesson learned. I'd rather go and record in the rain than listen to the dogs. So I think we've got a good process coming up. I think we probably have a couple of review shows coming up as well. And then we will have our regular preview for the Palace game coming up as well. So lots on the docket, both free and through our Patreon. So just check those out. Those are also in the description below.
There is one more break. Yeah, there's
What's
one more
breaking?
breaking. It's a breaking quote from Slot. Hugo, I'd call in sick tomorrow. I'm old-fashioned. I'm 47. If I had scored a goal like this, I would have turned around to Federico Chiesa and said, "This is all about you." So,
well, I mean, that would have been a very classy thing to do, but
yeah. So,
unfortunately, it's 2020, and hopefully, Ekitike never does that again. But yeah, on that happy note, I think we're going to close it up here. I need to let my dogs out, and I need to make sure that all of you good people don't have to listen to barking anymore. So that I'm going to say thanks to Chris. I'm going to say thanks to Gav, who's producing in the background. And yeah, thanks to everyone in the chat. We continue onwards and upwards with another late winner. But yeah, up the Reds. And again, thank you everyone and good night.